I'm Becca Heller. My organization provides legal aid to people trying to come to America from the Middle East, so to me it's still very much a circus. But I'm glad others have graduated to a form of representative government that we no longer have in other places in America. That wasn't part of what they asked me to say. So in 2010, when I had my Echoing Green interview, which apparently did not change that much since 1993 because it was still terrifying, or maybe I'm just a spaz, I was in the middle of law school finals, and as a side project, I was leading a sort of ragtag Bad News Bears group of law students and lawyers who were trying to provide legal representation to refugees in emergency situations. And it was kind of a hard sell. First of all, no one cared that much about refugees at that time, but the people who did, in thinking about the hierarchy of need for refugees, would think water, sanitation, housing, and lawyers just weren't making the top 5 of the list. We knew that we were onto something because refugees, in order to get to a safe place where they can rebuild their lives, have to go through this incredibly complex and insane circus of a system that involves like 5 or 6 interviews, hundreds of pages of documents, and upon which their lives legally depend. And if you're going to go through that, what you probably want is a really good lawyer. But I was having trouble selling this, and then Echoing Green decided to believe in me. And also I graduated law school, so it was a big May of 2010 for me. And then the bar happened and it was all downhill. So I started doing this full time in 2010 in the fall, and since then my organization, the International Refugee Assistance Project, now has over 2,000 law students and lawyers representing some of the world's most vulnerable refugees. We're at 30 law schools, more than 80 law firms. We're in 6 countries. We represent refugees from 55 countries. In the past 5 years, we've passed 8 pieces of legislation through Congress, which I think is more, thank you. That legislation has created Pathways to America or New Rights for more than 161,800 people. It included 2,500 visas for Afghan interpreters whose lives were at risk in the omnibus spending bill that passed 2 weeks. So you can get something through Congress, just not if you're the president. I've been feeling angry since Paris. Sometimes my speeches are more optimistic. And once Trump got elected, I spent a lot of time thinking, okay, so we have this group of 2,000 lawyers that wants to fight for the rights of refugees. What are we going to do with them? And luckily, he gave us a great opportunity. On January 27th, the president signed an executive order freezing the refugee program and banning the entry of visa holders from 7 predominantly Muslim countries. And we called our network and we said, go to the airport. We're not sure what you're going to do there, but something's going to happen. Go to the airport. And thousands of lawyers all over the country went to all of their airports. The protesters followed close behind, which is new that the protesters follow the lawyers and not vice versa. That irony just struck me as I was standing here, actually. The executive order was signed at 4:30 p.m. on Friday, January 27th. We stayed up all night. At 5:30 a.m. on Saturday the 28th, we filed an emergency lawsuit. There was a hearing that night at 7:30. At 8:30, a judge ruled that we could not turn the airports in the U.S. into black sites and ordered that everyone around the country who had been detained had to be set free. It was the first successful lawsuit against the executive order, and it took us 27 hours. And now we're going to the Supreme Court, which is terrifying because it's not good there. Echoing Green taught me to think big. When they say be bold, they really mean it. My original goal was to provide legal assistance to 6 Iraqi families I met in Jordan. And today I'm at the Supreme Court trying to show that even the president isn't above the law. In addition to teaching me to think big, and I think maybe more importantly, Echoing Green gave me the skills I needed to implement big. They don't teach you in law school how to start a nonprofit. And it turns out nobody actually really knows how to do it. Maybe no one really knows how to do anything they're doing, and we're all just faking it. But if you're in this room, you're faking it super well, so congratulations. But they, in addition to sort of, let's all cheer for ourselves. In addition to teaching us to think and to dream big, they gave us all the skills we needed to actually make that a reality, which is what I think is the really unique thing about Echoing Green's programming. Finally, they asked us to close with what we hope for the fellows for the next 30 years. So I'm going to speak to you next 30 years of fellows directly, and I'm going to tell you 3 things. The first is vote. For the love of God, vote. The second is congratulations. You're an Echoing Green Fellow. That's a really big deal. And the third is thank you. To the 900 plus of you, many of whom have not yet been born, I don't pretend to have expertise in your area such that I can offer useful advice. But I thank you for your dedication to promoting big change in the face of overwhelming challenges. And we need you and your work and the support of Echoing Green now more than ever. Thank you so much.